Everybody little tapping with the pot with Tigmatic.
Y'all tune into the Pop Podcast. And guess what? There's an episode of Leonard.
And you are tuned into the Pot Podcast.
And with the Pot Podcast with my boy Tigmatic. You hear me? It's going down.
To follow the Pot Podcast with Tigmatic.
That's that number one.
That's that number one.
Catching a wave, sun shining all on our faces. We done been all type of places. Travel the world, we look down on the world. Clouds in the sky, I make you feel so alive, yeah. Baby, no worries, no cries, yeah. I put you onto the vibe, yeah. It's no better feeling than you being next to me. Leaving footsteps in the sand on the beach. Ocean view with the world in your reach. Float away like a boat on the sea. What you want, happiness is the key. Wind blowing, got you feeling like you're free. Come with me and I can put your mind at ease. Come with me and I can make you feel at peace. Ayy. Ooh-wee, baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. I say, ooh-wee, baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. Flow like the wind and the breeze. Come and get closer to me, babe. Ooh, baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. Yeah. Girl, I come in like the tide, surfing the waves and we ride, yeah. You have the time of your life, yeah. Watching the sun as we rise, yeah. You're mesmerized, love how our spirits align, yeah. You make me feel so sublime, yeah. You got the glow, girl, you shine, yeah. Listen to the sound of water crashing on the shore. This is what it's like with a man that's mature. I can give you feelings that I know you never felt. Sitting in the sun and your heart start to melt. It's a vibration when your hand touch mine. Girl, you're so vibrant and I love how you shine. Just enjoy the moment cause it feels so divine. This the kind of vibe that everybody wants to find. Hey. Ooh, baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. I say, ooh, baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. Yeah. Flow like the wind and the breeze. Come and get closer to me, babe. Ooh, baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. Yeah. Ooh, baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. I say, ooh, baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. Yeah. Flow like the wind and the breeze. Come and get closer to me, babe. Ooh, baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. Yeah.
Shots of Manolo, freshly fitted in polo. My money got O's like Ocho. EYI's the label, check out the logo. If you wanna bounce, bitch, pogo. Built this here on my own, ho. Step to the side, let me slide in this photo. Been a businessman, I got euros and peso. Real definition of a hustle flip all dough. Might see me deep in my bag, Robert De Niro. Shooting at you niggas like Steph and Hero. Beef, I'm about that nigga, deflate your ego. I'm out of state doing great, me and me go. Can't fast forward the game, there's no cheat code. Your bitch on my line all day, just like a free throw. It's over for you niggas, check the last bar, finito. Fresh out and I fit right in. Knocked the bitch and we spent the night in. First night was like a burst of life. Second night she invited a friend. You fake niggas all like to pretend. Don't mind me, I'm at it again. I'm ahead so close, all I see is the win. It's a little too late for the competition. Not to mention, I've been penny pinching. With a sack so fat, I don't need attention. I got connects with Jordan, I'm the real pimpin'. Soaking in my thoughts, call it double dipping. Choose the right light, you can never lose sight. Take a leap of faith, it's great, you'll be alright. Pop the champagne, it's the ace of spade night. They betting on me like a Floyd Mayweather fight.
Any girl that wanted Dior, I'll be your whore.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome to another edition of the Podcast with Tigmatic. We moving and booming. Hey, today's episode is brought to you by Going In Radio, DDS, Test Music Management, Going In Radio again, Going In Music, Hollywood Music, Hollywood TV, Hollywood Radio, and Dollar Radio. And if y'all don't know, these radio stations are across the country, North Carolina, Miami, and Colorado. But listen, it's your boy. I'm here. And I'm feeling great today. I hope y'all out there feeling great. And listen, today I bring a speaker to y'all who gives motivation to the masses. And that's what we're here for. Y'all already know that's what this show is about, to inspire and create change as well. So, I hope y'all like the music videos that was playing today. AWAC's 1 million, Pop. That was the last song y'all just saw. And the first song, Nature Vandross, Sunshine. So we here. Listen, my guest is here. And once again, like I said, he's a motivational speaker. He's here to bring some positive vibes to y'all. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to get to it. So without further ado, I give you Leonard Dixon Jr. What's going on, my guy?
Yo, what's good, family? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Podcast with Tigmatic.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for having me, man.
Welcome, man. So listen, I like to give my guests a formal introduction. Solo dolo can for you. Boom. All right, here we go.
Right.
Give yourself the rundown. Introduce yourself to the folks. Tell them what you do and who you are.
All right. As Tigmatic said, my name is Leonard Dixon Jr. I'm a youth motivational speaker, but hey, look, I'll inspire the masses because I believe that everybody needs that hope, that positive encouragement. They need that hope and something to believe in, and that's where I come into play. I'm a youth motivational speaker, a coach, a consultant. I wear many different hats, but I thank God that I'm able to just work with people, understand the hearts of people, and just inspire the people.
Amen. Amen. Welcome. So, tell the people where you're from.
All right. So I'm from a small town down in Florida called Lake City, Florida. It's really country, but hey, I'm here, man.
That's what's up. Well, we glad you're here tonight and you're here with us.
I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
I appreciate you being here, taking the time, coming on here, to talk positivity. So tell me,
yes, sir.
Tell me how you got started into motivational speaking and, going out there talking to the youth.
All right. So it really started when I was in third grade, man. As my mom likes to say, she don't believe in, people saying bad, a kid is bad or a child is bad. So she called me mischievous. She said it was me being mischievous. And so in third grade, I had a lot of behavior issues. I was constantly in and out of the principal office. And then I remember this one day, I actually had to have a talk with the superintendent of schools. And so they called me down to the office. And I remember going down there and I see my parents sitting there. I see my principal. I see the superintendent. And I just felt like, okay, yeah, buddy, you did it this time. And so they're talking about my behaviors and they're talking about all the things that I did well, but they're also talking about the things that I could improve on. And I'll never forget the superintendent. He just looks at me and says, hey, young man, I can every school in this county, but I'm not going to do it because the man is sitting right there referring to the principal. He said he believes in you. So I believe that you can change. So they sent me home on the last day of school. And that's the best day of school. You got your cupcakes and your cookies and your parties and your fun Fridays. And I couldn't participate in any of it. But I just remember saying to myself, hey, I want to change. I don't want to cause my parents pain. Let me get my act together. I believe it was the following year, we had a motivational speaker that came in. He spoke life to my students and myself. And I don't remember what he said, but I'll never forget how he made me feel. And then it was like a seed was planted and the seed was watered. And I knew that from that day forward, I just wanted to inspire lives. And so I just went on this journey to just make sure that I was the best version of myself possible. And, that's come with many different trials and tribulations, man. But I'm grateful that, God has placed me in this space to be able to help people.
So how did your environment shape you to be the man you are today?
So I'm a preacher's kid, man. I'm a PK. So shout out to all the PKs out there, man.
Shout out to the
My parents had me
PKs.
yes, sir. My parents had me in church what seemed like 7 days a week. We had Sunday morning service, we had Sunday evening service, we had choir practice, we had Wednesday Bible study, we had Hallelujah night, 7 Up service. There was just so many different services, but for me, God has always been the foundation. And even when I wasn't, fully committed, he was always committed to me. And so that
Absolutely.
really shaped the course of my life, man. It just brought me, even on my darkest days, even in my lowest moments, he was right there. And I always felt it, but I had to work that out for myself. I knew that one day I was going to leave my home. I was going to leave what I considered the nest or my comfort zone. And I was going to have to find out who God was for myself. And that really shaped my journey.
Oh man, that's dope. That's
Yes,
definitely
sir.
dope. So, you spoke about your darker days,
Yeah.
rather, or darker,
Yeah, darkest.
whichever way.
Yep.
But
Yep.
what were some of those challenges you faced growing up, and how did you overcome them?
I remember, man, I'm a former athlete as well, and one of my biggest achievements was being able to do what people told me I couldn't do. And um, I remember a couple of coaches, my sister, God rest her soul. That was one of my darkest times, just losing my oldest sister, somebody that was there over the course of my journey, and then just really having that feeling of them not being there. But I'll get into that. But just knowing that I wanted to play running back, right? And I was a little bit on the chubby side. I was a chubby kid. I was eating too much. And I remember saying, hey, I want to do this. And I remember it was one of the coaches, he was like, hey, man, you too big for that. And it hurt, man, because I knew what I wanted to do, but he was like, no, you can't do that. And I just worked and I worked and I worked. And I just knew that, hey, man, I was not going to let anything stop me. If I seen it up here, if I seen it in my mind, I know that I could see it in the natural and I could be in the natural. And like I said, my oldest sister, I refer to her as my biggest fan because when my family couldn't show up, the rest of my family couldn't show up, she was always right there. She picked me up from practice. She'd take me to tournaments and she was just right there. But going into my senior year of college, she fell ill. Or my junior year of college, she fell ill. And I just remember 2014, I call it my purpose year. My head coach resigns, the one that brought me up to the school. And then my sister, she passed away on spring break, man. Like this is the time where we're supposed to be, free of any stress, free of any worries. We're supposed to be free of exams. And I go home to, just share the moment with my family. And I was going to see my sister, not knowing that was going to be the last time I seen her, having to bury her on spring break. So that was really my darkest time.
Man, my condolences, first of all.
Appreciate it.
And I know that can be a very traumatic thing, losing a loved one, a sibling at that, I lost a sibling as well, but I lost them when I was very young. And I watched them go. So I understand.
Man.
And I can relate to that as well. So my condolences.
Appreciate it.
So how did you overcome that?
With her being my biggest fan, it's like she was right there with me every step of the way. She was right there with me. And so I knew that I like to say this phrase. I'm big on affirmation. So I say, if it is to be, then it's up to me. And I knew that my sister, yes, she was there through the wrestling. She was there through the football, but she just wanted me to be the greatest version of myself, whether it was football, whether it was band, whether it was playing basketball at the Boys and Girls Club. She just wanted me to be the best version of myself. And so for me, it was just, I knew that I had to get past this moment because just because I'm grieving, life doesn't stop. And it was just a process. I really had to lean more on God because, again, I was away from home. I believe that prayer can go farther than we can go. So I knew my parents was praying for me, but I knew that I had to go to God for myself. And as a man of faith, trying to figure out who he is, not perfect, but just trying to be consistent, I knew that I had to lean on God, man, because he was the foundation. He was the person that could give me peace when nobody else realized how you having peace when you just lost your sister, when you just lost your sibling. And when you lose somebody like that, it's almost like a piece of you leaves. And so I just remember wanting to be the best football player that I could be, but knowing that piece of me left. There was a time period when, after burying my sister, it was time for me to go back to school. Spring break was over. I waited on some of my bros to, meet me in my hometown so we could drive back up. And I just remember that whole drive back home, man. I was just questioning whether I wanted to go play or not, because one thing I'm not gonna lie to you, it almost broke me seeing my family as I'm driving off. I'm seeing my family in the rear view, and I'm looking at them and I'm seeing them wave. And I just remember, like, my heart just felt like it was ripping, man. And I just asked myself, I don't know, like, how am I supposed to pick up the pieces when I'm in pieces?
Yeah, it can be very hard.
Right. And I had to ask myself, how am I supposed to pick up the pieces when I'm feeling in pieces? And so I remember getting to my room that night. Once we got back up there, I remember sitting in my room and I'm like, it has to happen. I got to work through this. I got to get past it. So for me, man, working past it again was just trying to figure out who I was beyond the pain.
Oh man, that's phenomenal to know and realize what it was that pushed you to where you are now, right? A lot of us at times when we go through loss, we go down a downward spiral.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do, man.
Especially with experiencing loss. When we experience loss, it takes us on a dark path. We don't listen to the loved ones that see us spiraling out of control, and they want to help us and be there for us. But you found some solace for you and found a way, right? So,
absolutely.
I want to ask you, what was the turning point in your life that pushed you toward becoming a motivational speaker and mentor?
Just realizing that I wanted to be a person that helped people heal. Like, I can't do the healing. That's God's job, but I can be a vessel. I can be an agent of hope, an agent of change. I can be a chain breaker and a change maker. And I know, especially now, the way our society is, there's a lot of chaos going on. There's a lot of controversy going on. And I know that a lot of people are hurting in this season. We've lost a lot of loved ones. We had COVID that happened. Some people are trying to figure out who they are. They're going through an identity crisis, and they just don't know which way to go. They don't know how they're going to get out of the pit. They don't know how they're going to move beyond this painful moment in their life. And I just want to be a person that's going to be there that helps guide them through life, that can take them by the hand and say, hey, you don't have to do a life alone. You might be afraid. I know you're probably scared, but hey, I'm here with you. You have people in your life that care about you, but I want to be a person that helps them move beyond their pain and step into their purpose.
Oh man, that's awesome. So I would like to call those that do that purpose activators.
Yeah, there we go.
And I got that from Professor D. She's a motivational speaker, purpose activator, and she teaches classes as well. And she get the young people moving, and motivated to be great in life and excel in whatever it is that they do. So you do the same thing. So you said you're a coach as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What sport?
So really, I work with different teams. I felt like, along with motivational speaking, I wanted to step into more of a character coaching role. And so there was a team last year, actually the last 2 years, where I would just go out there and give them a word. But it's not limited to just football, because everybody needs hope. Everybody needs encouragement. These kids, they have life life is going to happen beyond the game. If they're anything like me, I know for me, football was my getaway. So if I failed a test, I knew that I could go to the field, work out my frustrations, and then go home and deal with it later. But even though I got that getaway, I went to practice and I was able to step away from painful moments, I still had to go home and deal with those painful moments. So I decided to just step into more of a character coaching role to help these athletes navigate life beyond their sports.
Oh man, that's awesome. They definitely need guidance beyond sports. So
Yes.
to be there for
Most
them in
definitely.
that way is awesome. So how has your personal story helped you connect with the youth and communities you serve?
Man, I've learned this philosophy. It's like don't tell a story without making a point, and don't make a point without telling a story. So a lot of times,
I like that.
I know, yes, man. When I learned that, it was a game changer for me. So instead of just going up there with facts, I sound like a professor when I'm just lecturing. I used to work at a group home, and they used to call me Mr. J. And me and one of my bros, we used to always mentor the kids and just speak life to them. They're like, oh my God, Mr. J, he's just constantly lecturing us. And I'm like, just take this lesson and put it in your back pocket, because one day you're going to need it, and you're going to realize, like, man, I'm grateful that they spoke into my life at a moment where I didn't know where I was going or where my life was headed. And so again, it's just, man, it's a blessing to be able to learn these different tools that helps me be able to help other people. So I can use my story to be able to connect it to a point or a principle, and then make it make sense for somebody that might be struggling or maybe going through a tough time, and help them realize that it's like the light bulb goes off. So that's what's really helped me. My life story has transformed by knowing these little small nuggets that I can use as a speaker.
Yeah, and I can relate to that as well, because I share my story to help others as well. And
Absolutely.
the whole goal that Jesus talks about is sharing and being a testimony to be a light in someone else's light. We have to
Yes, sir.
illuminate the world with
Yep.
not only just letting people know about him, but sharing what we've been through so we can all relate. So, I agree with that 1000%.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here's my next question. What inspired you to focus on mental health in your work?
Because there was a time in my life where I didn't really talk much. I was just like, hey, I'll go out to the field and just run for 3 hours, and I'll just get past my frustrations. Like I said, I used to just run to the field anytime I felt any kind of inconvenience or went through any tough moments in my life. But I realized that at a certain point, I would get stuck in the experience if I didn't deal with the emotions that came with the experience. And
Absolutely.
so, yes, man, I started to do more research, and I started to understand that there are people that get trapped in their experience, and they get to such a low point that they resort to extreme measures. And I know several individuals that, they're no longer with us, and it's a sad thing, man. And I just hate to hear that, man. I heard somebody today, man, they lost a loved one to suicide, and it's one of those things where I have to be a voice. I have to be somebody that's going to just, again, take people by the hand and let them know that they are not alone in the struggle. Like you said, Jesus wants us to share the good news, and there's a scripture that says we overcome by the blood of the lamb and by the sharing of our testimonies. So for me, sharing my testimony, it's a blessing to somebody else. I go through different things, not just so I can come out on the other side and be strengthened, but I'm going through things to show somebody else that it's possible, that coming out on the other side is possible, that greatness is possible, that stepping into your purpose is possible, that you can live beyond your pain and actually walk in your purpose and help somebody else. Reach one, teach one is one of my favorite quotes.
So what age were you when you found your purpose?
Man, I think it was that fourth grade moment. It was like a light bulb went off for me.
Early.
It was, man, and it was very early. But there's another story that's like attached to that. So in fourth grade, after I heard the speaker speak, I hated reading, I hated writing, but they used to have us do this thing called the Tropicana speech, and we had to write an essay and we had to recite it. It was basically working on our public speaking skills. And if you did good enough, you won in your class, then you would compete against the other kids in your grades that won in their class. And so I won in my class in the fifth grade. I won against all the other fifth graders. And then I think I got honorable mention against all the other fifth graders in the county. But that was a defining moment that basically told me that, hey, I am headed in the right direction. I just needed work. You know what I'm saying? I just needed work. But man, that's when I found it, man. And I just knew that from that day forward, I would be doing something with inspiring lives. And I mean, here I am today, man.
That's cool. That's
Mhm.
definitely cool. All right. So here's my next question.
Talk to me.
In your experience, what are some of the biggest mental health challenges facing young people today?
I think if I had to put a point on it, I would say it's identity. Music is a heavy influencer, and a lot of times we get lost in the music because of the words. I'm a musician as well, so I love the music, and if I'm not careful, I'll listen to a certain, style of music, and I'll start to take on the characteristics of the music, even though
Yeah,
my
by the
intention was
imposter
to listen
syndrome.
to the beat or the instrumental. I start to get angry when I listen to more hype music. I start to get more mellow when I listen to more soft and more melodies. And I think that right now our youth they're going through a lot of identity crisis. They're already trying to navigate life, and they're trying to deal with their hormones and their emotions. And it doesn't help that we have a lot of negative influences out here. A lot of our youth feel alone. They could have a parent in the home, but still feel alone. I
That's
think
true.
those are two of the biggest things: lack of support and the power of the influences that are in their life, and it shapes their identity, especially when it happens young, when they get a hold of some music young, like I did. Again, it shapes your identity. It changes your mood. It makes you more aggressive if you listen to the wrong songs, and you can't distinguish between a song and reality. And so I think those are two of the things that our youth are struggling with right now: lack of support, lack of mentorship, and the identity crisis.
I agree with you. There's a lot of imposter syndrome going on right now.
Yep.
And, like you said, there's a lot of people that hear the persona of these rappers or singers, and they want to carry out that same persona. And
Absolutely.
a lot of these kids don't even come from homes that represent that.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of that going on, but it's about wanting to fit in more. This social
Absolutely.
scene and social media has made kids feel like they want to be accepted more at a higher rate than the
Hmm.
era I grew up in. So I
Absolutely.
understand that in its whole totality. Um,
My dad used to always. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
My dad used to always tell me, he's like, "Son, you can't be like the crowd." And I never understood it. I used to get so mad because, again, I just wanted to fit in. I wanted to be like my friends. I wanted to be accepted. High school is a jungle, and it's really, you get in where you fit in. And if you don't fit in, then you're kind of an outcast, and
Yeah,
nobody
you're
wants
an
to be the
outcast.
outcast. So yeah, I start doing things that are outside of my character. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, I talk about character, I talk about integrity. Those are values that I really believe in. And you may not get it 100% of the time. You won't get it 100% of the time. But the thing is, when you can develop the self-awareness and self-assess yourself, you say, hey man, I'm starting to trip a little bit. I'm starting to act outside of my character. Let me bring it back in. And those are the type of skills that I try to teach our youth, because I want them to be able to understand. Like, I have a daughter, I'm a father as well. And so one of my biggest goals is to help my daughter understand herself, even as she's growing. Like, she's growing up, I'm learning more from her, just being patient, being able to just nurture, being able to just sit and talk to her, even if she does something, like she makes a mistake, not getting mad, just using that as a teaching moment. And I think that's where it is. We have to meet these kids where they are, instead of saying, hey, I'm the adult, listen to me, do as I say. Because when you come with the iron fist, you try to rule with the iron fist, you're going to meet resistance every time. And
Every
this
time.
day and these kids are different now, man. And so I think that we have to meet them with love, meet them where they are, have some empathy, come into the situation with understanding. They make a mistake, try to understand what led up to the mistake, but love them through it, man. We got to love our kids, man, because the world is already teaching them that, hey man, they're not teaching them to self-love. They're teaching them to be like their favorite rapper, or teaching them to be like their favorite influencer, instead of teaching them to be like themselves, or be themselves and be 100% authentic.
Still give them the discipline when they mess up, though, folks. This is where
Oh,
a lot of our
absolutely.
kids are lacking the discipline. When they mess up, they get cursed out, but there's no sentence behind it. And y'all know what I mean by sentence: punishment. There needs to be that in order to put some character in your child. Y'all be letting these children run loose. Like, y'all can't do that.
Oh, yeah,
Y'all
you can't
gotta
do that.
instill some positivity, curse them out, and then put them on punishment. Take the phone away. It's okay to take the phone away.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's okay to take the video game away. You know, these things will build character in your child and make them not want to do those things again. So the discipline is necessary. And I say that because of what you said also, but because I grew up in a group home as well, because I was a bad kid. I had 102 cuts in 1 year and got sent to the system. You know, so I learned my lesson though, you know.
Right.
And it took me being an adult to learn my lesson, to be honest. But, you know, you live and you learn, you make mistakes. But when you make the mistakes, the goal is to not keep making those mistakes. Learn your lesson.
Absolutely.
And teach somebody else not to make the same mistake.
Absolutely.
So I agree with you there 1,000% as well. I had to piggyback on that, brother.
Oh no, I appreciate it, man. We're here. Hey, it's open dialogue, and I just believe that, especially as parents, they don't need more friends. They need a guide. They need a mentor. They need somebody that's going to teach them the right values, teach them to be an upstanding citizen, teach them how to thrive in the face of adversity. Because if you're just another friend, then we're not doing our children any service.
Yeah, and a lot of respect fades away too.
Absolutely. If they know they can do the same thing around you that they do around their friends, I mean, you think they're going to respect anybody else that's older than them? No, because they don't even respect the authority figure that's in their home. So why would they do the same thing to anybody else in the real world?
Hey man, I agree with you there, man. All right, so here's my next question.
Talk to me.
Share some effective tools or strategies you teach young people to help them cope with stress, trauma, or anxiety.
I try to teach them the difference between reacting and responding. So reacting, it doesn't take too much thought. You just, if somebody says something to you, you just blurt out the first thing that comes to your head. And once it's out there, you can't take it back. You can say, I'm sorry 100 times. But a lot of times, a lot of relationships are ruined because what was said in a heated moment. And so I teach the kids, I'm like, hey, it's okay to take a couple seconds to gather yourself, take a deep breath. I teach my daughter, if she get worked up, I say, hey, mama, listen, take a deep breath, let's breathe. And so we take a deep breath and then we process what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, now if it's fight or flight, you got to get up out of there. Hey, yeah, go ahead, react to it. But in most cases, I teach them not to react, but respond. Responding takes a little bit more effort. Responding means, let me process this. Let me take a deep breath, process the situation, and then give the best response based off of the information that I just processed. And so that's a big one, because a lot of times in this life, man, we're constantly reacting to things and we're getting the results based off of the reaction that we gave. And we're wondering, why am I still stuck in this situation? Well, you got to respond better.
Yeah, I agree. It takes a lot to have emotional intelligence in that way. And for some of us in the Black community, we don't have emotional intelligence because
not at all.
A lot of the time we wear our feelings right here and walk around with the feelings right here everywhere we go.
Yep, absolutely.
So as soon as someone says something, pop off. And next thing you know, you knock on somebody, and with the girl, right, everybody crashing out. Everybody crashing out. And it's because we lack the empathy, like you said, and understanding to not crash out. You know, a lot of things could be solved and resolved if it was just a small conversation. So
absolutely, man, you said a whole word right there. A lot of things can be solved by a simple conversation. Again, a simple conversation, grace, understanding, empathy, just seeking to understand the other person's point of view, understand their perspective. And you'll realize that maybe it's just a minor disagreement that's standing in the way. And if we can bridge this gap, then we can accomplish something great here. But nothing gets accomplished when you tear down the bridge. And we tear down the bridge by the way that we speak to people, by the way that we process things. Like somebody, you think they're mad, but maybe they're just having a bad day. Maybe this
That's
person
true.
just lost a loved one, or maybe they just got fired from their job, and you're saying, "Hey, oh, I don't like the way you looking at me." Did you offer them some empathy? Did you give them some grace? Did you tell them it's gonna be okay? Did you find out what was going on in the first place? I
Right.
think that especially within, I would say within the Black community, we're losing the village mentality, where it takes a village. It truly takes a village, and we're losing that mentality, and it's almost like a every person for themselves kind of game.
Yeah, I think that it's like that because we were taught that for a long period of time, that you have to just worry about you and what you're doing and get where you're trying to go, because we lost a lot of the leaders that showed us
Yeah.
about unity.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
once they left, it was like, instead of coming together more, people just took their frustrations out and carried the frustrations out in the community, to be honest, in your own community, tearing it down, and then everything began to get lost. So because of that,
Absolutely.
those values and those core things that we needed were gone. And then, as you know, the drugs and
Absolutely.
everything else came into the communities and destroyed it even more. But I could be
Right.
all day with that
Absolutely.
conversation.
Yep. Yeah, we definitely need more unity in our community for sure.
Absolutely. Okay. So how important is self-awareness and building mental resilience? And how do you help people develop it?
It is highly important. Like having the ability to assess where you are in any given situation is highly important. There has been times where I've been on autopilot, and that's dangerous. It leads to those moments where you self-destruct, or you crash out, or you just react in the moment, because sometimes situations and circumstances do become overwhelming. But knowing when to stay in a situation and knowing when to step away from a situation is highly valuable. And so, like I say, for me, developing resilience, it was just understanding why I felt how I was feeling and why I felt that way. For instance, in 2014, again, when I lost my sister, I experienced the injury. I got sick. We got a new head coach. He basically told me, he's like, "Hey, we got other plans." I'm like, "Coach, I can come back. I can rehab and everything." He's like, "Oh, we got other plans." And I'm sitting there stuck because I've invested my whole life into becoming a great athlete. And I just really had to assess how I felt in that moment. And I was also dealing with, some personal issues, family, financial. So now all this weight is on me. I used to run the football. When things were inconvenient, when things were tough for me, I used to run to football. I used to run to the field. But for the first time in my life, I really could not do that. So I had no choice but to sit in the moment and deal with the emotions that I was feeling, dealing with that weight on my shoulders. But it helped me so much because sometimes we got to slow down. And if we don't slow down, life will slow us down. And it's in that moment, we have to take advantage of that moment. So for me, it was just understanding how I felt, why I felt this way, and what could I do to move past these emotions and navigate life better moving forward.
Oh man, that's heavy. I like that. I like that. Man, let
And
me ask
also
you a
understanding
question.
purpose.
Yeah. When you stand in your purpose, you know how to respond. I dig that.
Man. And even when you don't know how to respond, you know that, hey, there's somebody that needs me. Because when I tell people, they're like, how do I find my purpose? I say, your purpose is always tied to helping people in some way, shape, or form. And I believe that
Absolutely.
when we define our gifts, when we understand where the areas that we're gifted in, we can take those gifts and refine those gifts and grow in those gifts, and we can use our gifts to help other people. And I know some people
Absolutely.
say, well, I don't know if I have a gift. Well, I think that that's something where you have to really use self-awareness too. Like right now in my daughter, I'm paying close attention to the areas that she's gifted in. Yeah, we do things. Want to put her in different events where she can have fun, but I'm paying attention to the areas that she's gifted in so I can water those seeds, because one
Absolutely.
day she's going to be able to use her gift to help somebody else. And she has the most beautiful heart. Like I've seen her, or my folks told me one time she was passing out donuts and gave herself the last donut. And I'm like, to understand that at a young age, a young tender age like that, man, we lose that as we go into the world, as we go into the real world, we begin to lose that innocence. We lose that ability to care for other people. And so,
Yeah.
so yeah, man, I could go on and on all day, but it's just really staying connected to your purpose, even when the pressure's on. Just staying connected to your purpose, man. It changes the game for you. It changes how you see your situations.
Yeah, I agree 1000%. You know, I use this pod as a way for me. You know, I found my purpose through using my voice in radio at first. I was on radio on a station in Huntsville, Alabama for a year and some change. That went well. And this pod was birthed. You know that, though. We were talking about that already. So I use that as an example as of, listen, you may not know what you want to do with certain things, folks, but once you find your purpose, and my purpose was to find positive people, highlight them, and bring some light to the world. You know, it's all about that, and also representing God. You know what I'm saying? You got to do that.
Amen. Amen. Hey, that's man. That don't go nowhere, man. Because again, when you're connected with Him, again, even in your most inconvenient moments, man, when the pressure's on, when the heat is turned up, it's almost like you can walk on coals and you don't get burnt.
You don't get burnt. You don't feel nothing on them feet,
man.
You know,
you might feel you might feel. Yep.
You get up and keep running.
That's it. You gonna feel the pressure. You're gonna feel the heat, but you get up and you keep running because you know that there's somebody on the other side of that furnace. There's somebody on the other end of the coals. Actually, there's somebody in the furnace with you and in the fire with you that's going to be right there with you the whole time, man. And it's something that I tell people, hey, find that relationship, you know, or work on your relationship with Christ, man. Work on your relationship with God, because you know, it sometimes, I know a lot of people, I've had a lot of conversations with people and they say, well, I'm praying and I'm praying and I'm praying and I don't feel like God hear me. Well, I heard this quote. They say the teacher is always silent during the test. And man, there's been times where I'm like, God, God, where you at, man? I need your help. The pressure's on, man. But it's just like that pressure cooker. Like you got, sometimes the longer it simmer, the longer the meal simmers, the better it tastes. I believe that God is always right there with us, man. He's always right there with us, but He wants us to develop. I don't see God as a genie. Oh God, I want this. Oh God, I want that. Because if He gave me everything at the moment I asked for it, I might not be able to hold it. I might not be able to sustain it. And it might not last if I get it too early. So I know that if I go through any pressure, if I go through any pain, there's a purpose behind it. And I know that because I trust in Him, all things are going to work together for my good. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I know it's going to work together for the good of other people, because somebody might be praying for a word. Somebody might be praying for a way out of their situation. And if I trust in God to bring me through my situations and circumstances, I learn from that. I learn from my struggles. I learn from my pain. And now I go out and speak a word. And now God gave me a word, and I gave them the word that they've been praying for. That's how that thing goes full circle. That's why I say purpose is always connected and tied to helping people in some way, shape, or form. And when you can lock in and tap into your gifts, man, I'm telling you, it's your gifts that's going to make room for you and take you in the right places.
In the right places, and elevates you in ways that you never imagined. That's what it has done for me. I understand that, you know, and I once was a person who did not understand that. You know, I had to unlock that. And you know where I unlocked that, y'all? The good book.
There you go.
The Bible, for those that don't know. You know, I had to read and learn more. And once I did that, I started to have more understanding. And it took more understanding to help me find myself with a lot of things that I was going through, because I, you know, experienced a lot of trauma with them, you know. But within that, you know, I couldn't see myself and I was in my own way. And sometimes when you wait on God, He puts you in your purpose the right way so that you could do the thing that He wants you to do and not what you thought you was going to do. So always remember that, yo. Sometimes we be thinking that we're going to do what we want to do. Yeah, I'm about to be this big rap star.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, you're doing something else.
Mm-hmm.
That's how God works. No, I want you over here.
Oh,
Oh, is it gonna
absolutely.
be in rap? Oh yeah, it's gonna be in rap. That's how it was with me. Yeah, it's gonna be in rap,
That's it.
but it ain't
Yeah,
gonna be the way you
I thought
want.
I was gonna be in the NFL. Right.
You see?
Yeah,
And that's how
I
it
thought I was
goes,
on
you
my
know.
way.
Now, don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong, I still drop my music, but it ain't the way I
Yep.
wanted. It was the way he wanted. Because I was trying
Absolutely.
to do it in the fast way. He like, no, everything takes time. And it goes back to that crock pot line. I need
There
you to
you go.
simmer a bit.
That's it. Well,
You
it's like
know?
when Jesus got ready for his moment. You know what I'm saying? It came time for his moment. He was like, even him in his power, man, how great he is. He was like, man, he was asking the Father, like, is there any way you can remove this cup? And a
Hey,
lot of us, we are carrying a heavy cup, and I
that's a
get
fact.
it, but it's not our will, but it's His will, man. And if we just trust Him, and that's the biggest thing, trust Him just like the chair you sitting in right now. If you watching this, trust Him like the chair you sitting in. Like you go out, and you probably gonna go outside and crank up your car. You trust that your car is gonna crank.
Right.
It's just that simple. You just gotta trust Him in the midst of your circumstances and understand. I understand the cup might be full, it might be heavy, but He got you there. You just gotta trust Him through the process.
Oh man. This is good. This is good, brother. All right.
Man,
So can
man,
you
look.
share a success
Okay,
story where
go ahead.
you witnessed real transformation in someone you mentored?
Man, it was this kid years ago because I used to work with the school transportation, and I'll never forget this kid, man. And just for confidential purposes, I won't say his name, but I remember when he got on the bus, he used to always, using profanity, and I was like, I had just got assigned to this bus, and I was like, hey man, I need y'all to tone that down back there. I can't let y'all listen to music. They listen to loud music. I said I can't let y'all do that, because if I let other kids say words or I let other kids listen to their music, they might say something that y'all don't like, and then everybody gonna be mad. So hey, my number one job is to make sure each and every kid get home safely, and that's what I'm gonna do. And so I remember he was like, man, who is this guy, man? He just kind of brushed me off a little bit, so I had to get the write up forms just in case. And so he was like, man, I ain't scared of no write ups, but when they got ready to get off the bus at the school, I held them back a little bit. I was like, hey, bro, I said, hey, stay back real quick. Let me talk to you. I said, hey, man, look, I'm not your enemy, bro. I heard that he overheard a conversation about him playing football. I said, hey, you play football, right? I said, look, and this was when I was training. And I said, hey, I play football too, man. But listen, if you get in trouble, what you think your coach going to do? And he was like, man, I said, you probably going to get in trouble and you might not be able to play in the game, right? He's like, yeah. And I said, so listen, bro, all I'm trying to do, look, meet me halfway here. I'm not here to make your day worse. I'm just here to make sure you get home safe to your family. And I said, look,
That's right.
just work with me, man. And he was like, all right. And so it got to a point where he might slip up. And he's like, oh, my fault, Mr. J. My bad, man. I said, if you slip up, but then you take accountability for your actions, I can deal with that. I
Right.
respect that because you at least I can see now that you're trying. You have enough self-awareness that you actually use the profanity, but you remember that, hey, okay, Mrs. J didn't want us use the profanity, so let me chill. I respect that. And that was a huge moment for me. And it really taught me because now I can teach teachers that, and I go to different places where you have authority figures. I'm like, hey, instead of trying to tell our kids to meet me where I am, we're adults. We should have it figured out. Some of us don't. I mean, we're all works in progress. But instead of
Absolutely.
trying to get somebody who's trying to navigate their emotions, their hormones, and their life, instead of trying to make an adult understand a child, instead of having a child understand adult expectations, how about as adults we meet them where they are, and then once we meet them with love, then we can catch them up to speed. But it got to start with love and empathy, man. And that was a full circle moment for me. It was really one of the defining moments in me being a speaker, but also working with other authority figures that's dealing with kids.
Oh man, that's dope. That's dope. And it's good that you understand that. You know,
Oh yeah.
Understanding is one of the core keys to change. and not just
Absolutely.
oneself, but others as well.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
I dig that, brother.
Yeah.
How do you maintain your
It's
own
a
mental
blessing.
health? All right, go ahead. What you was about to say something? Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, man, it's a blessing to be able to pour into other people, man, and just having that understanding. Like even when I'm on the road, man, every time I talk to somebody, they say the driving is crazy where they are, but I just try to understand people. Trying to understand why behind the why. Like, okay, I see you did that, but why? And just asking those tough questions so that I can gain a better understanding. Because by asking why, maybe we're going to eventually get to the root, but we can't get to the root until we ask why, until I understand.
Oh man, that's so true. That is so true. So, how do you maintain your own mental health while carrying the emotional weight of helping others?
Man, this is one I've had to work through because I'm so used to just work, and meeting goals and paying things off and trying to get things situated financially. So that part has been the hardest, but I've learned to pick up different hobbies, whether it be pool, whether it be fishing, whether it be, going to try different food, just doing different things that I actually like doing instead of just doing what I have to do all the time. Because I realize that if I don't pour back into myself, I feel led to give a word. So my mom, she's big on green tea, right? And so anytime I
My
was sick,
wife
she would
too.
always say drink green. Yep, she would always say drink green tea. And so now I hate getting to the bottom of the cup, right? Because as I'm drinking it, it's cool. I drink it, I don't put no sweetener in it or nothing like that, no sugar, no honey. So I just drink it, and I can take it. It's cool. But it's something about getting to the bottom of the cup, and once I get to the bottom of the cup, it starts to taste real bitter. And I
That's when the
look down, and I see
strongest
the
stuff.
yeah, I know it. I see the residue, and I think that a lot of times we end up giving from the residue, the most bitter parts of us, because we don't replenish our cup, we don't refill our cup, and we give from the residue instead of giving from the overflow.
He cooking.
And so for me, it's just learn. I don't want to give people the residue. I don't want to give people the last parts of me. I want to give from the overflow, because how can I be a father and lead effectively if I'm leading from residue? I want to give my daughter the overflow, the best parts of me. I can't give her the best parts of me if I'm dealing with the residue, and I'm giving from the residue. And I remember looking in the bottom of the cup, and it wasn't the best tasting, man.
Yeah,
And so just for
I've
me, it
been
was
there.
just I don't ever want to give from the residue, man.
Yeah,
If God bless me with the best, then I want to give from the best. And so I just
amen.
want to make sure that I'm giving from that overflow, bro. And so in order for me to give from the overflow, I gotta refill my cup. And if in order for me to refill my cup, I gotta do things that's going to uh I gotta do things that are going to replenish me. And that's taking that time away from just doing business, taking time away from just working, and just pouring back into myself, whether it be a movie, whether I go get some ice cream. Man, hey, look, I love some ice cream, some cookies, man. I just got to treat myself and not feel guilty about it. It comes with giving myself grace. I think that's where it starts. When we give ourselves grace, we free ourselves, we liberate ourselves, and also giving other people grace as well. Because when we give them grace, we liberate them to do the same for themselves, and then all the other people around them. Because a lot of us are holding on to things, and we think that, oh, I'm gonna hold this grudge because they did this and they did that. But our cup is slowly draining, and eventually we'll end up giving to people from the residue.
Absolutely. And what you were saying with the grace leaves open space for
Yep.
forgiveness and healing.
Oh man,
That's the biggest
man.
part of that right there, man. So I definitely respect it. Two more questions before we get out of here.
All right, let's
Okay.
do
All right. Solo dolo can for Tig.
it.
What's one message you hope every person takes away after hearing you speak?
That life is not what happens to you. It's always how you choose to respond. You are who and what you choose to become. That's it. That's it. I've often heard that people are products of their environment, but no, you are products of your choices and your decisions. But just because you came from a place doesn't mean you have to take on the characteristics of that place. Like I'm from Florida, right? And I know they say Floridians have a certain lingo. The lingo will always be a part of me, but I haven't let that define me or lock me down to the point where I can't move around or I can't be flexible to blend, because there's going to be places and spaces where I got to be more professional. There's going to be places and spaces where I can't go up there talking about, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I can't say that. So I got to be able to be flexible. I got to be able to move with the wind a little bit. And so for me, it's just be aware of my settings, be aware of my surroundings, be aware of the rooms. Because if my gift is going to take me before great men in great places, I got to understand that I got to meet the needs of those great places. And so I got to understand that life is not what happens to me, it's how I choose to respond. But if I live this life based off of what has happened to me, then I'll end up giving from the resident.
Right. And everything is based off perception in the first place. So that goes back to knowing your settings. If you respond,
man.
Yeah, I'm saying, you know what I mean? And I do it from time to time, but I know which people to do it with, and I know the ones not to. You know, let's be real. Most of us should know that if we're in a certain age bracket. And for the youth, you have to get that training.
Yeah. So, oh man, and it's just being able to life is just, man, it's so complex, but man, it's just knowing yourself. Because there's sometimes when I speak and I might need to show that down to earth side, because they see me as these kids see me as an adult. Like it's almost like you can cut the atmosphere with a knife. Like it's so crazy. And I'm like, hey, look, I'm just like y'all. I'm just a little older, man. Like, yeah, and I'll tell a funny story, get them laughing. You know what I'm saying? And now I just tore down that barrier. So now we can really have some real open dialogue. We can have a good conversation leading towards change.
Right. Hey, man, last question. If it's one thing life has taught you, what is that and why?
If it's one thing life has taught me, what is that and why?
Yep,
I would say that forgiveness is not for them. It's for you. I'm going to say that one more time, just in case y'all didn't hear me. Forgiveness is not for them. It's for you. And that goes back to life is not what happens to you. It's always how you choose to respond. Sometimes you got to respond with a heart of forgiveness. And as tough as it is, I get it. They wronged you. They threw dirt on your name. They went behind your back. They called you every name but a child of God. I get it, but it's not the names that they call you. It's the name that you answer to.
Mm-hmm.
So forgiveness is not for them. It's for you.
That's true. And the
longer
you hold on to it, I'm sorry, I got a little excited on that one because you gave a check. But the longer you hold on to it, the longer you hinder your growth.
Man, and the harder it is to get rid of
your own self from growing. Let it go.
Absolutely.
Let it go.
It's like quicksand. Man. If you don't, you hold on to it, it becomes a weight. And the more you hold on to that weight, the more you sink. And at a certain point, you can get out of it, but it becomes harder. It becomes more difficult.
That's a fact. Man, listen, this was dope. This was dope to have you on, man. Your energy is turned all the way up to the max, man.
Man, hey, bro, I'm here, bro. Let's go.
Let's go. And listen, on my show, Stirring the Pot, we usually do this when gems are dropped. But you was dropping them a lot, so I'm gonna stir it just one time, even though we're not all stirring the pot.
Hey, if y'all would like more inspiration, more encouragement, yes, sir. If y'all would like more inspiration, more encouragement, please, you can find me on Facebook at Leonard Dixon Jr. That's LeonardDixon. On Instagram, it's at LDJ_inspires, and LinkedIn, same thing, Leonard Dixon Jr. I would love to connect with y'all.
Hey, man, listen, they're watching in Korea, North Korea today.
What's
Shout
good?
out to Germany. Shout out to Germany, Congo, Puerto Rico, Italy,
Let's
Bangladesh,
go.
LA, North
Hey, we
Carolina,
here.
Philadelphia, Florida,
The crib,
Colorado.
okay, Florida.
We out here. We moving and booming.
Yes,
Thank y'all
that's
for
what I'm
showing the
talking about.
love, y'all. Listen.
Thank y'all.
This was awesome, Leonard. You got to come on again, man. Your energy is
Hey,
turned,
let me
like I
know.
said. I love it, and I was so excited, we could have kept doing this for longer, but, unfortunately, we on the radio.
Right.
And we live and for the radio, too. So, we got to have some type of cutoff. But listen, man, I appreciate your time, your energy, and you can give any shout outs that you want to give at the end right now. And then when you're done, turn the camera off. But don't hang up.
Gotcha. All right. Hey, man, as always, first and foremost, shout out to my Lord Savior Jesus Christ, man. He's a real one. Shout out to God. Shout out to my family for always being a huge support, man. Shout out to my baby girl. I love you, P. Just everybody, I thank y'all for coming on tonight. Everybody that's watching, people that I know and love and care about. Those that I don't know still love you, still care about you. And again, thank y'all for tuning in.
All right, man. Hey, listen. Leonard Energy was dope. I hope you guys felt this interview. I hope you got some positivity and feel good on this Wednesday night. I feel great. I'm turned to the max. And listen, as I end the show, I'm going to play this song that I love very much called Wait on God by Big Leak. And I hope to see y'all Saturday. Until next time, folks, we moving and booming.
V-Ray's going too hard, though. Don't cry, dry your eyes, take away hunger. When faith is low and trust is hard, take away hunger. It's like I prayed and I prayed and I praise some more. It's like the desires of my heart won't on your mind no more. Drowned in the water, couldn't find you, no car, see a boat. Know why you ignoring me, yeah. Seen people blessed with my request, like now you gotta be teasing. Telling myself it's in due season, like I'm really believing. My blessing came once I realized delayed for a reason. You not hear me, yeah. Don't cry, dry your eyes, take away hunger. When faith is low and trust is hard, take away hunger.
Never plan ahead, live up in the moment. Put my trust in God, cause he never leave me lonely. I was trusting in my homies till he showed me they won't for me. I just wait on God, cause he'll remove them. Man of many talents, I just try my best to use them. Gotta feel my purpose, if I don't, my life was useless. This a different type of music, but who else was built to do this? I just wait on God and let him use me. When faith get low and trust get hard, don't cry, wait on God, on God, on God, on God.
Don't cry, dry your eyes, take away hunger. When faith is low and trust is hard, take away hunger.
Just wait.
Your emotions don't change your confession. It's real, you gotta keep your face strong. That's the simplest I know. Guard what you look at and what you let between your ears. God, good, his showers of comfort outweigh all your stress. It's true, I had to share this good news to all my peers. Your timing, not his timing, and the spirit I heard him say. If he didn't do it, no, it's not because it couldn't be done. You just weren't mature enough to handle it. And he ain't just gonna bless anyone. Wait on God.